Right. So you have to look at the timing. Sometimes we get the feeling, the push, the pull, the tug, whatever you want to call it, to start the business. And sometimes that tug is for you to start the
Mm,
research of that business. You don't want to skip any steps. You want to be really clear what your business is going to be, what it's going to provide, what your role is going to be in that business. And one of the most tedious ways of doing that, which so many people skip, create a business plan, build your business plan because it's going to ask you all the
mm-hmm.
questions that you have not asked yourself.
I'm here with Nichica Melton, and we are talking about balancing it all faith, family, and entrepreneurship. I'm so excited that she's here today. She is a remarkable woman who life just embodies the art of balancing multiple passions and responsibilities. She's a wife, a mother, she is a successful entrepreneur, and she just is balancing all of life's demands. She has a master's in education, and she's channeled her expertise into multiple businesses. Through her work as a speaker and productivity coach, she helps professionals enhance their productivity and success. So I'm so excited that you're here, Nishika, to talk about how you're balancing it all and sharing some jewels for people who are trying to balance work life, personal life, all of that. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm excited to
Thank
be
you.
here. Thank
I like
you.
to just get right into it. I would love to just hear about your journey. I can see how are you doing it all and just walk us through your journey.
Well, my journey, I guess in some ways has been conventional and in other ways non-conventional. I was not that person who dreamt about owning a business when they were little. I didn't dream about being a doctor, didn't dream about being a lawyer, didn't dream about any of those things. I actually dreamt about being a mom. Now, notice I did not say a
Yes.
wife. I dreamt about being a mother. That's what I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to do. Entrepreneurship, I won't say that it fell into my lap, but I had one of those moms who sold everything. Like if there was a home-based
Mm-hmm.
business to do, she did that. But it did not register at the time that it was like a business, like she was an entrepreneur, because those words were not
Mm-hmm.
tossed around. She was making extra money. That's how she worded it. Even though she was winning trips and getting the fur coats and the jewelry and all those things, it wasn't pressed upon me that this is me working a business. This is me building a future. She coined it as I'm just making extra money. And she never stayed in one
Mm-hmm.
too long. So it wasn't until I got married, children, that the bug started biting me, but it was biting me from that aspect of I want to make a little bit more money. I want some extra money because I was in corporate America with all that red tape and politics and backstabbing and foolishness. And I just wanted to make extra money. So I tried various, again, home based businesses because that's all I knew. So if it, could go in your kitchen or go around your neck or hang on your wall, I did that. But it wasn't, you can tell when something's just not your thing, like that's not it. I can do it, but I'm not satisfied with it. I don't have that
Mm-hmm.
contentment. And honestly, At the time, I was working full time, 40 hours a week. I had three small children, all stair stepped, all in car seats. Sometimes I would work a part time job waitressing while being a wife. And I was at the point of just sheer overwhelm. My brain was fried. My body was fried. I was tapped out. I was depleted at every angle and I had nothing. I mean, it was so bad when my kids would be like, "Mommy, what do you want for your birthday or what do you want for Mother's Day?" My response was just don't say my name. Just don't call me for nothing. Don't
Right.
need cuz I was thoroughly depleted. And my corporate job was at a call center. So I took 200 plus calls a day, Monday through Friday. I had nothing else to give. And I kept trying, they hook you with the marketing, these quote unquote productivity organizing balancing
Right.
things, buying the program, buying the planner, and I would find myself even more stressed out trying to do what they said because it didn't fit
Right.
my life. And so I literally just prayed and was just talking to God, what am I going to do because I'm about to
Mm-hmm.
snap. Like, if anybody else needs one more thing from me, I'm just going to be sitting in the corner going like
Yeah.
this because I'm done. And it was interesting because people on the outside didn't know how stressed I was. They were asking me for advice on how to balance and how to do and how to handle. And the Lord was just showing me take your own advice. You're telling people what to do, but you're not practicing what you're teaching. And so I just started writing things down because my brain says, when you bring me something complicated, there's got to be an easier way. It don't have to take all that you're telling me to get the same result. That's how my brain works. And so I'm not just a productivity coach. I'm a simplified productivity coach. And I work with people, high achieving professionals, entrepreneurs, people who want to go forward, people who want more, okay, because they know that it's in them. I work with them to create that balance, to create the vision, because to me, I don't know what type of people you've come across, but it's very rare that I come across an entrepreneur that has a vision for themselves where they've literally written it out. And I go through that process and show them how goal setting is actually quite simple, but we've just been doing it wrong. And some of these gurus, I ain't no harm, no shade, no
Right.
disrespect, but some of these
Yeah.
gurus have gotten it wrong and made it
Mm-hmm.
harder than what it has to be. Because if I have to spend 3 hours every morning just to get ready
Yeah.
for my day, I'm doing the wrong
Mm-hmm.
thing. I'm doing the wrong
Yeah.
thing. And so I'm here.
And I love what you're saying because I used the term a minute ago, being busy. And I think sometimes we get addicted to being busy, and we've got to realize the difference between productivity and busy. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think a
Mhm.
lot of times we just keep piling stuff on because it's like I've been guilty of it. It's like, okay, well, I got some time. I'll just add something in, right? It's like we like to feel like we're
Mhm.
doing something because we feel like that's what we're supposed to do. Can you speak to that a little bit?
You hit the nail right on the head. We have been trained since children. If you go back to elementary school, we were given busy work. If you're not being busy, you're not really doing anything. So it's been put in our DNA that we have to be busy. It's been put into our DNA that resting is a sin, and if you're not doing something, if you're just laying across your bed trying not to lose your mind, then you're doing something wrong. We've been trained that way since we were little
Yeah.
beings. And I had to learn that there is a very real difference between being busy, which is it's easy to be busy. You don't have to have a degree to be
Mm-hmm.
busy. You just have to be able to say
Right.
yes, and you'll have a whole lot of stuff to do. Being busy versus being productive. Because busy people fill up their
Mm-hmm.
day with whatever. There's no alignment. It's all over the place. If I were to look at calendars, nothing that you're doing in the day is in sync because you're accepting tasks from text messages that come in, phone calls that come in, emails that come in. You're moving stuff over. And it's not really what you're doing is exhausting
Mm-hmm.
yourself. However, what you're doing is not feeding the goals that you said you wanted to accomplish. When you are productive, goals are
Mm-hmm.
accomplished. And it's not just for your career or for your business. What I do with every one of my clients, we have to have balance, your professional and your
Yes.
personal, because that overwhelm sets in when you forget about
Mm-hmm.
you, and you need to rest. You need to eat
Mm-hmm.
right. You need to get a little bit of activity into your day to work the stress out of
Yes.
your body because you're not a
Mm-hmm.
robot.
And you said the word that I love, alignment, because if we're just doing routine tasks and by the time we're finished, our real dream, our real passion is in, the back seat because we've just been focused on checking the boxes. Can you let the listeners know how do they find that alignment, that balance between, because there's so many parents, there's single parents, they're trying to do it all. How do you find the time without just making it a checklist? How do you really have true work-life balance? Or is that really a thing? Work-life balance.
And you're asking amazing questions. It looks different every day. Okay. What I tell my clients is you need to pick when you're doing your planning for the week, you need to pick 2 to 3 things that you're saying, I am going to get done on this day, no matter what, because you're prioritizing. You have to know how to say that NO word. It's okay to tell people no. Just because you can doesn't mean
Mm,
that you should. Just because you have the ability to do it doesn't mean that you should do it. And everybody's emergency is not your problem, and everybody's a problem ain't
yes.
your emergency. So I mean, that would be the thing that I would say, because as a parent, there's always going to be
Mm-hmm.
things coming up. If you have children, I don't care what age they are. My youngest is
Mm-hmm.
24, and I might get a text message from any one of my 6 children. I was on the phone with one of my daughters right before our
Mm-hmm.
call, because she
Yeah.
needed to talk. Um, there has to be priority, and you're able to establish the priority when you have a clear vision and you have goals that make
Mm-hmm.
sense. It's not enough to just say, oh, I got this done, check it off, check it off. One of the things that I teach, which goes against so many of the gurus,
Yes.
okay, for that I say, fight me. I don't even, I don't even care because I know what I
Yes.
teach works. Get rid of the to do
Mm.
list. Get rid of the to-do list, because what happens with that list when we make it, the reality is nothing on that list is actually important, because anything that we don't do, what do? We just move it to
Right.
the next day. If it was truly important and
Mm-hmm.
critical and priority, it would
Right.
have got done. But we just keep shifting it to the
Mm-hmm.
next day. It'll just go to the next day until there's no more room or no more time or no more
Right.
desire. So we have to learn how to
Yes.
prioritize everything.
And I think too, with the to-do list, and sometimes people just have like the mental checklist. Again, it just makes us feel good. It's like, you know what? I got 10 things I got to do today, and I got all 10 things done, right? But when you look back, it's like you really didn't get done what you needed to get done or what you wanted to get done, right? And that alignment
Right.
is missing. So I love the message that you're teaching people. And I know it's really, you kind of got to unwire it. Because, like you said, like this is just how we're conditioned as a society. What would you say is the biggest challenge that your clients have when you're teaching them these new methods and talking to them about these new strategies?
I always start out with, this journey requires a mindset reset, because we're about to unlearn some things. And the list is the
Mm,
hardest thing for people to let go of. Not just the written list, but the mental, because they'll say, I've got it in my head. I got it in my head, but I haven't written it down yet. I know what I want to do, but I haven't written it down yet. And so then when I start asking
mm-hmm,
questions, they start seeing how much you actually don't have in your mind, because your thoughts are actually
mm-hmm,
cluttered, just like that list you've been working on, where things have been marked out and erased and moved over and arrows drawn here and all that kind of stuff. The list is the hardest thing because it is so deeply
mm,
programmed. I mean, from every job, even when they do
yeah,
trainings, I've seen in corporate America where they'll say, make sure you make
yep,
your list of what you need to do before you leave work. You have your list together so that when you come in, you know what you need to
mm-hmm,
focus on. Well, okay, I can make my list, but then I'm going to get stressed out at the 20 other things that are going to come my way that have nothing to do with what's on my
right,
list. And I'm going to look at that list and I'm going to feel defeated because I felt like in the moment, those were the
mm-hmm.
important things.
And I
That's the
the
deprogramming.
deprogramming, and I would imagine that your background in education has helped you in really helping like adult learners deprogram. How would you say your background in education has helped you?
Being able to discern a person's learning
Mm-hmm.
style by how they talk, by how they answer questions, and how they ask questions. Um, I just did completed a group training, and one of the ladies in the training, every time I would give a homework assignment, because the training was a 5-week period, and every time I would give a homework assignment, I mean like clockwork without fail, she go, oh, because in her mind, she's already
Yeah.
complicated it. She's already started creating the list. And I'm like, stop, 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 stop. I need you to
Mm-hmm.
breathe, because you're already in your mind adding on to what I didn't even
Right.
say. You've created
Mm-hmm.
work. And so we have to talk through that, because everybody, like for me, I'm what they call a
Okay.
kinesthetic learner. I have to hear it and
Mm-hmm.
touch it. There has to be both. Some people are auditory, some people, if they just see it, it's fine. All of that comes out
Yeah.
in the sessions. Even in the group, you cannot hide. It's going to
Mhm.
come out, and I pick up on it because I have been in the classroom with various age, levels, and I see that, and the we can try to put the mask on, but at some point, all those questions and frustration just start seeping
Mhm.
out of our pores, even as adults. And I've learned how to ask. They they call them frustrating questions, because part of the feedback that I got was, "Don't you do it unless you ready." I said, "You got that
Right.
doggone right." Because we going
Uh-huh.
in. Okay, that's my job, to go in and to tear down what's not needed and build up what you didn't even know you
Mhm.
had. And that's part of that teaching background,
Yeah.
and the
The
mama
combo.
background.
Yeah. So you hitting them with the 1, 2. They're like,
Yes,
okay, wait a minute. I'm not ready for this. But that's what you need. You need that
exactly.
growth push. Cause that's what, anytime I feel uncomfortable when I'm being pushed by someone, especially someone that I trust, and I'm like resistant, and I'm like, okay, I need this. This is why I'm feeling uncomfortable, because I know I gotta change it. I know I gotta work on it.
Mhm.
And so you're doing that work with people. Where can people find you? I know you've got multiple businesses, but where can people find your coaching business website? What services are you offering? And we're going to have all of that linked below too, so people can check you out.
Absolutely. So the easiest way to find me is through my website, which is mindingmybusiness.vip. Mindingmybusiness.vip. That is where you'll be able to see all of my social media handles. You'll be able to book a call with me. All the things are on the website, because I've learned over time that when you start giving people a whole
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff, all of it's
Yeah.
not digested. So if you go to mindingmybusiness.vip, don't put the com on there. That's somebody else's
Okay.
website, child. You'll be like, where? I am not there. Dot
Okay.
VIP, and you will be able to connect with me, um, even through my email address. All of those things are on my website.
Thank you. And I would love, before we get out of here, you to talk to people who are on the verge of entrepreneurship. And as a woman in the business, what advice would you give to someone who feels called to make a change in their life, make a change in their career, but they're hesitant to take that leap?
Right. So you have to look at the timing. Sometimes we get the feeling, the push, the pull, the tug, whatever you want to call it, to start the business. And sometimes that tug is for you to start the
Mm,
research of that business. You don't want to skip any steps. You want to be really clear on what your business is going to be, what it's going to provide, what your role is going to be in that business. And one of the most tedious ways of doing that, which so many people skip, create a business plan, build your business plan, because it's going to ask you all the
mm-hmm.
questions that you have not asked yourself. You're going to get into the research, and it's going to make you look at your business idea deeper, even if it's a situation where you're taking on a family business and you feel like all you got to do is just step in. It's never that easy. Know what you're getting into, know who and what your niche market is. You cannot market to everybody. I know we want to. Now, I'm the person, even though my niche market is high achieving professionals as well as entrepreneurs. In that group, I had retirees, I had students, okay? I wouldn't know my product and I wouldn't know my ability had I not sat down and done the plan, which required me to do the research. You got to build that foundation to know, is this something that I really want to work on 7 days a week for the next couple of years until I get it built up? And that business plan is going to answer those questions for you and see if this is just a hobby that you're trying to get into or business that you're going to work. So that would
Yes,
be my
I love
advice.
that. Doing the research, and you might be surprised after you do the research what path is going to lead you to. And so, listeners, if
Yes.
you need that support, you need that help, I need you to reach out to Nishika and get that support. Check out her website. Come back, rewatch this when you having that checklist fatigue. Okay. I need to do some stuff tomorrow. I'm already thinking like, okay, I need to I need to start reworking some stuff in my life. But I just love everything you said today and your energy and just helping people move forward, right? Helping people not feel stuck, because when you
Yes.
feel stuck, you don't progress. You don't have any growth in your life. And so I love what you're doing. I'd love to have you back on in the future. I know you're going to keep on just helping people. And thank you so much for your time. And listeners, rewind this back, listen to it.
That's it.
And I'll see everyone again next week.